YouTubers, this is another video from your friendly neighborhood reviewer, Evelyn. So today we're going to be covering episode 2 of the revival series of Quantum Leap. If you want to, for new viewers, if you want to refresh yourself of why it's called a revival series, I did already an episode 1 review and explaining the original series. If you see the thumbnail up here. So we're going to move on to episode 2. At the end of episode 1, Ben went and leaped into an astronaut. So basic premise of episode 2 is Ben trying to change the fate of this astronaut that he leaped into, because apparently in that mission in 1998, the astronaut dies. So in episode 2, Ben is getting the grips to leaping into a different body and being in space, while Addison, Ben's fiance, is getting to grips with the message that she got from Ben at the end of episode 1, saying that he can't explain things, but there might be things to pop up that she won't understand, but to trust him that he'll come back. So episode 2 is dealing with the repercussions of Ben leaping without authorization, and we get slowly introduced to Al Calavicci's daughter, Janice, and we get a surprise cameo from Al's wife, Beth. If you remember at the last episode, season 5 Quantum Leap, I'm going to put up an image of the actress who played Beth. She made a surprise return. They all has a surprise return. I still think Scott Bluke will come out as a cameo. So come on, just fly down for a cameo, pay him a bit more cash, and that would really complete the continuation of this series of Quantum Leap. So as Addison is there helping Ben to be an astronaut, because of course he has no idea what he's doing, the leader of the team, Magic, I'll call him Magic for the purposes, is trying to investigate what the heck is going on. So he tells Addison about after the fact that Janice Calavicci was the one that helped Ben to do the leap, and Addison is there confused, thinking all this time that her and Ben were working together on the project. We found out that Addison and Ben fell in love while during the project, and originally Addison was the one that was meant to leap while Ben was meant to be the hologram helping. So she goes and ransacks the office, and Ian comes, to see how she's doing, and then she goes and says that she was trying to find some sort of other evidence of what Ben could have been hiding, and she finds a flash drive. So she's very hesitant on not telling the other team, because the Magic and Jen, the head of security, they're both saying that maybe Ben was corrupt, or maybe for, bad intention, whatever the intentions were. They tell Addison not to really jog Ben's memory of who he was or who he is. So in case that if he had any bad intentions, not to remind him of what the original mission is. So Addison's conflicted of what's the best course to do. And of course, this episode is kind of like a metaphor for what's going on with Addison and Ben, because in the crew, you have the superior in charge and his protege, a female astronaut, and things happen, and the supervisor goes and gets injured in the head. Well, the female astronaut has to take command of. So in the episode, Ben manages to avoid dying as the astronaut when the debris come, because of the payload that they had in this rocket in space the door didn't close. So they managed to do that, but however, more debris hits the heating shields of the rocket, and they have to decide what's the best course of action, because the fates of the astronauts changed, that if they were to go down to Earth with the broken shields, all of them would die. So the female astronaut is saying, if we go to the Russian space station, they can help us. So it's kind of like this episode was a metaphor for Addison kind of, recuperating trust in Ben, and also Ben figuring out that the other people in the team in the future are not telling him things because maybe they see him as a bad egg or corruption, whatever, and he understands the decision of them not really trying to jog his memory. And at the same time, he's trying to leap forward. So each time in the episode, Addison is reminding Ben that he can't control the leap. But even though there's a cool moment where I don't know how possible it is that they try to contact the Russian satellite space station, and then there's no luck. So Ben then says, oh, they're all sleeping. So he unhooks himself from the space shuttle, puts a big leap towards the space station, so hoping that he can grab one, in which he does, and they successfully go and get the Russians to help him. And the other part of the episode is after when Magic goes and talks with Janice's mother, Beth goes and calls his daughter, and Magic and the head of security were able to track Janice Calavicci's house. So they go down to her house. The door was left open, which I thought was intentional, and they find out that she has a secret bunker of where Ben and her are working on some, complex equations, and there's all these routers and stuff. And Janice goes and calls Magic, and she says that Ben was the one that tracked her down and asked for her help. She doesn't reveal more, and then she kind of like a self-destruct button, but Jen, the head of security, manages to grab an external hard drive, and at the end, they go and have the team reunites. Addison understands Magic's point of view, and she agrees not to jog Ben's memory. And when they see the flash drive, Addison gives up the USB stick. They put in the USB stick, and then they unlock some encryption, and then some complicated equations appear on the screen. And then Ian says, "Oh, let's put it as a 3D model," and the 3D model kind of shows like a kind of like web of things. And then, of course, with the science, you try to explain it as easy as possible, because how can you explain, physics and time travel in a way that the audience can understand? So what they explain to us very clearly that Ben is trying to go to a point in history, a point in time, and we're left with the mystery why. Because the big mystery within this series is, why did Ben leap without authorization? Why did he go to Janice Calavicci, and what's the end point? I know Scott Lucas said in his Instagram that he's not returning to the series, but with all these indications, maybe NBC is pulling a Spider-Man No Way From Home, where Andrew Garfield and the rest were denying, saying that they're not coming into the movie, but actual fact they are. If they do that, that'll be a great marketing strategy. So one thing I do wish the episode was slightly longer at 51 minutes, because I clocked it at 47 minutes and the mission felt too rushed. I don't really like space movies because everything's confined. And when Ben leaps into the next body, he leaps into the body of a boxer and then he gets knocked out. We kind of see when Ben leaps into another body, he's very disorientated. And there's another part that I haven't explained. In the original series, I know when Sam leaped into another body, his body in the present future was like a soul switch, that whoever he leaped into, the person's soul went into Sam's body, and they kept the person in a room for the duration, however long that Sam needed to correct the mistake. And they haven't really explained that part in the series, because in episode 1 they rushed it. They rushed the specifics because he was in this big chamber or so on. Don't know whether it's budgeting issues that they couldn't held that special effects a little bit longer. Oh, well, anyway, so that's the gist of episode 2. I wish it was a little bit longer. I wish we could have had a bit more of explanation. I do like that we see more of the future. And I really want to know what the end game of all of this is going to be about, and I hope they pay off the big mystery. And I don't want as well, Al Calavicci, Dean Stalker, the character, and in real life, the actor died a year ago. I don't want it to be the fact that Janice's mission is to either save her father, which we know it's not going to be possible. It's not going to be possible. Or the secondary theory, which I've seen other YouTubers cover, that maybe to complete Al's mission to bring back Sam. And also there's the other fact, because obviously at the end of season 5 of the original Quantum Leap, they never really explained. There was so much metaphysical conversations going on about God, mission, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, YouTubers, this is the end of the video. I want to say a big thank you to all the new subscribers. You know how much I appreciate it. Leave your comments below what you think about the Quantum Leap series. And if there's anything else you'd like me to review, please comment. And as I leave you always, bye!